I mean, why is someone an avoidant? They're not evil. They're not mean. They're not, it can be pretty horrible to be on the receiving end of certain kinds of pattern of behavior. But let's try and remember, why does this exist? Someone becomes avoidant when they've grown up in a emotional calorie-controlled diet environment where they have had to get used to very little. The way they survive is mum's not so interested, dad's not interested, no caregiver around, a lot of disappointment. I'm just going to hunker down and get used to very little, literally like an animal that gets used to a very thin diet. That is what has happened to an avoidant person. And then when they get to love and someone goes, I adore you, let's spend every evening together, let's, you're marvelous. They feel a bit, often they don't even understand that they're feeling it, totally engulfed. They feel overwhelmed. They feel their very identity is in threat of dissolution by something that's lovely, but it's too much too soon. And what they need is an experience of love titrated. They need the titration of love. But often they don't know how to ask for it. They don't even know. Often they might smile through it and go, I'm not really feeling this. And then they can't bear it, and then they run away or just become weird or something. So explanation, hello, I'm somebody who had to get used to a very, calorie-controlled diet emotionally. I really feel warmly this relationship matters a lot to me, but the kindest thing is not to be too kind to me in an overwhelming way. The most generous thing is not to be too abundant. Not because I don't want this, but because I grew up in a situation of deprivation. So that's our avoidant friend. Anxious friend, similar kind of story of explanation. Why do people become so-called anxious? Normally because, unlike the avoidant person, they have had an experience of love. So in some ways, the anxious person's had a better childhood, better journey through life, in a way. They have experienced love, but they've also experienced loss and the disruption of that attachment. So someone died, someone went away, someone had to go to, the army, something happened to disrupt the bond. It was very intense, but it was disrupted. And that person needs to understand that they are, there's a wonderful sentence from Donald Winnicott, great psychoanalyst, who said, the catastrophe you fear will happen has already happened. And the key thing is, it's been forgotten. You forgot the catastrophe. And that's why you keep seeing it in the future, whereas actually it belongs in the past. So what you need to do is understand this structure and repatriate the emotion and put it back where it belongs. And so the avoidant person at dinner, on an early date needs to go, I really want to believe in your love. But if you say you love me, I might not be able to believe it very easily. And what I will do is test it. And the person might go, test, fine, fire away. And the anxious person should go, yeah, this test is going to be quite unhealthy, quite horrible. It's going to mean that when you say, I love you, I'm going to start to act up because I want to see if you really do. So I'm going to be really difficult around you not because I don't want you, but because I want to test whether your affection is really real. And the only way I know how to do that, because I'm carrying this stuff from childhood, is to act up, play up. And so when we're in a nice restaurant and you tell me that, things are great, I'm going to say, actually, the food's not that nice and I don't really like the clothes you're wearing. And I'm going to cause a drama. Why? To test whether the love is real. Very unfortunate. So the more the anxious friends can get on top of their anxiety, the more they can translate everything I've just said into something that sounds like it's been processed and can be understood by another person, then the better it can be. So, anxious and avoidant people are walking wounded, and they need to be able to explain the nature of their particular wound so that appropriate care can be set up. Awareness.